Hello and welcome back to part 5 of my playthrough of GMT's tri-pack Battles of the American Revolution, Eutaw Springs. We're at the start of turn 6, and if you remember from the last video, the Brits are in trouble. They are pinned here in an engagement. We have these units which will not rally. We have our HQ and the victory hex of the Americans threatened by horse units here and Swamp Fox, sort of doing a pincer movement. So we'll see what happens in this turn. So, first thing is initiative. So we'll bring that down. Now the Americans are still on high morale, so they get +1 to their initiative roll. The Brits are still just fatigued, so they don't get any DRM to their initiative roll. So let's see who's going first in turn 6. Oh, it's the Americans, 6-1. So there we are. That goes on turn 6. And the Americans are off. Now in the movement phase, disrupted units can move 1 hex, so I think we'll move them up actually. Yeah, we'll pop them there. Also in the movement phase, pinned units, or the American pinned unit, which is this or this stack here, can move away, but it will cost them 1 army morale. So I'm just going to have a check and see if that's going to be worthwhile. Right, I think what we'll do is, I was hoping to attack this and do a diversion on the pinned unit here, but you can't do that. The rules state pinned defending units may not receive a diversion. So I think what we'll do is move those back. That pin comes off. The Americans lose army morale. Those pinned markers stay on, and the Americans cannot move adjacent to any pinned units. Quite a thoughtful move for the Americans, because it's now the sort of move proper. I think they need to utilise their cannon a bit more. We can't attack here or use our cannon here during the Brits go because they are in the forest, but I might bring this up. The other thing is we need to sort of consolidate forces here. Do I bring this up to actually attack the Charleston horse, and do I bring Swamp Fox and the rifle unit up either round here to threaten Stuart, but they do get some good DRMs because they're in this sort of plantation house in the HQ. Or do I bring it here to take control of one of these encampment hexes, but then there's a risk of getting disordered, getting drunk and leery, and they can't do much. They can't attack and all that sort of thing. So I'll have a think, I'll have a move, and then I'll get back to you. Right, the Americans have moved. What's happened? Well, they've decided to move back and consolidate their forces. They've now got 3 quite strong stacks here. We've got one with 1, 2, 5. That's artillery. And here is a 6 stack. And this is the weakest one because it's got this. We need to rally them because they are 3 SPs, but we've got 3 there. I've moved up the other artillery. A bit precarious, but I don't think Marchbanks will move up to attack it. You never know, but I don't think so. I think they'll want to stay there, hoping they can rally those units here, moved up the horse. We are going to have a go and attack the Charleston horse, see if we can clear them out the way. So, and if we do, we can carry on forward. And Swampy and the rifle unit started to move them up, but they didn't have enough movement allowance to get them here, so we'll have to wait until next turn for that. Right, that's what we've decided to do. The next phase is the rally phase, and we're going to try and rally that unit there. So let's put that there, and it is the Pitkins and Sumter militia. They have a 0 morale, but they are still, the Americans are still on high morale, so it's just as is. 5 or more. 6. Oh, they have rallied. And as they have rallied, they make an army morale adjustment. They go back up to 13. Bad news for the Brits. The next phase is the defensive artillery phase, but as you know, the British artillery are under that pile of disrupted units and cannot fire. Next, rifle fire phase, but they're not in range. They have to be adjacent. So that's it. Next, close combat. Let's see what happens here. Here we go for the close combat of the horse units. We've got 2 and 2, so it's a 1-to-1. The lead unit is going to be Lee's Legion horse. They have a +1 morale. They're still high morale, the army. Let's see if there's any other DRMs. No. So it's the defenders. Their lead unit is going to be the Charleston horse, of course. They have a morale of 1, but because of this fatigue army morale, they get a -1 to their unit morale, and of course that cancels that out, so they get nothing. Now it's tactics. Engage without a leader is withdraw plausible. Well, no, I don't think it is, because Americans have to withdraw this way, or that way, and they can't, because they go here or here, they'll be in zones of control. So, withdraw not plausible, table 2, which is a D6. Oh, we haven't used that one before. 4. 4 is stand fast. Ooh. And the Brits, engaging without a leader, is withdraw plausible. No, for the same reason. They have to withdraw that way, or that way. And again, you've got zones of control, so they're using the same table, table 2. And they throw a 3, and that's a stand fast as well. So there's nothing to be added. When they're both the same, it's 0. So here we go. Don't know why I moved that. Americans on the 1-to-1 with a +1. 6 + 1. Oh. 7 is a retreat. So the Brits have to retreat, but they can't. Hold on. Good grief. I think the Charleston horse are captured. If they can't retreat, and they can't, they are captured. Catastrophe. And that means capture +1, -1 on the army morale. The Americans go up to 14 and the Brits are back down to 9, and they've lost their only horse unit, and that leaves the way clear for these. Oh no, that I think is the end of the Americans' turn. So let's see what heartache occurs. Now it's the Brits. Here's the situation for the Brits, and the first thing we do in the movement phase is to move our disrupted units, but I think I'm going to keep them there, because if I can rally them, I may be able to at least bring the infantry unit, which is under here, the Highlanders. Not much strength, but we may need them up this way. It's looking dire. So we're not moving them. The next thing to do is the movement phase. So I'll have a think and get back to you. Here we are. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I've moved these up, and what I'm planning to do is to have the Brits attack the green stack here, and with a diversion on this stack. And I think the Americans underestimated how desperate the British are. They're actually going after that lone artillery unit. So that's the movement phase. Now it's the rally phase. The Brits desperately need to rally these units, so let's see how we get on. Second Royal Highlanders are on a 0, but because of the fatigued army morale, they have a -1, so they need a 5 or more with a -1. Here we go. 6. -1 is 5. They rally. And because of that, the Brits' army morale go up by 1. They're on 10. Still fatigued. Now it's the light infantry with a +1, but because they are still fatigued, it's cancelled out, so it is as is. 5 or more. 7! Wow! They are rallied, and the army morale goes up 1 more for the Brits. They are back to high morale. They're on 11. Coup. It is now defensive artillery phase, and as Marchbanks has moved up, Brown's artillery unit can now unleash its cannons on Marchbank. But, as I say, they are desperate and just hope that the artillery miss. So they're going to go after, I think they're firing their cannon at the Irish Buffs because they are a 4 SP. So, on the range fire to hit, they have a 1 SP. They are adjacent, so they need a 7 to hit, but the target occupies forest. Light forest, orchard or blackjack. That's a -1 off their throw, so they need a 7 with a -1. Here we go. No, 5. -1 is 4. They miss. So it looks like we can capture, the Brits can capture that artillery unit in the close combat phase. Next is rifle fire phase. They are, of course, up here with no targets, so we give that a miss. It is now close combat. Oops, silly me. I forgot, of course, that hidden under here is another artillery unit which can fire at this stack. So we'll quickly do that before we do the close combat. I think we'll have it attack Skinner's Greens. So, as always, it has a SP of 1. It is adjacent. There are no DRMs. So we'll quickly do that and see if they hit. They need a 7 or more. 6! No, that was it. Phew. Back to the battle. The first close combat we'll do is actually with this artillery unit. Now, it says here, if the only defending units are artillery, they are captured without conducting an actual close combat, but the attacker must first identify the lead unit, after which the artillery is captured. So I suppose it means they have to move into that empty hex. So who we are having as our lead unit? We will have the light infantry. They are declaring that they are the lead unit, so they capture Brown's artillery, and the light infantry move in. I think it'll just be those. I think Marchbanks will stay there. That, of course, again means that the British get army morale up 1 for the Brits, down 1 for the Americans. Oh, Brits are on 12, Americans are on 13. This may help in this battle here. Let's have a shift round. Here we are in what I think is a very decisive battle. We're having these two quite weak stacks attacking green. But we'll see. So, what's the odds? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're doing a diversion against this one. Eight against 6 is a 1-to-1, but because we are doing a diversion, we go down to 1-to-2. I don't hold up much hope, but here we go. Lead unit. They're all pretty weak morale-wise. 0, 0. I think we'll use the 64th. They have a 0 morale, so there's nothing added, but we add 1 on for Coffin. Don't think there's any other DRMs to add on for the attackers. Don't think they're all... No. No. No, that's it. Now it's the Americans. Their lead unit... Oh, crikey, it's the Maryland Brigade. So, +2 and +1 for Green himself. So that turns into a -3. Dear, oh dear. Don't think they've got any. Not that they need them. Any DRMs. No, I don't think so. Okay, it's tactics. Engage with a leader. Yes, opponent has leader. Is flank possible? No, because the 2 hexes that would be the flanking hexes are occupied. So no. Is withdraw plausible? Yes. So they're both going to use table 7. Table 7 is a D6. Let's have a look. First, the Brits. 1. Oh, withdraw. And the Americans. Oh, they throw a 1 as well. They get the willies. And as you know by now, if they're both the same, there is nothing to add on. Right. So the Brits are rolling on the 1-to-2 table with a -2. Let's see what we get. Fingers crossed. 9. Oh, 9 minus 2 is 7 on the 1 to 2. Oh, retreat. Crikey. The lead unit has to retreat. It's those darn Maryland Brigade. And everyone has to do a morale check. They are high morale, so we'll do this one first. They get a +1, so it's 5 or more with a +1. 6, they got a 6. +1 is 7. They're okay. We'll just pop green there a minute. Kirkwood. Now, of course, I went a bit stir crazy there. Of course, these don't check for morale because they weren't involved. They were off wandering somewhere else with a diversion. So it's just the Maryland Brigade. Forgive me. I get excited. And I think we'll keep... Now we're going to pull back green to protect him. That does leave the Virginia Brigade exposed, but okay, we'll take a chance. Sorry about that. Well, what about that? The British gallantly fought back, made a little headway, but they're not out of the woods yet because the Americans still have this strong force here. The Brits are split, and the main threat, I think, is up here. We don't have anything nearby to rush back except these. So we'll see what turn 7 brings. I think we'll leave it there. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. And if you are, please consider subscribing. I always say this. Pushing the like button of the video and the bell if you wish to inform you when I do upload the videos. And leave a comment by all means. I love to see them. So, this has been part 5 of a playthrough of GMT's Tri-Pack Battles of the American Revolution, Eutaw Springs. We'll see you next time for turn 7. Until then, you take care and goodbye.